Hello, hello, hello. My name is Portia Williams, also known as the Student Success Coach. And what I do is I help parents grades K through 5 confidently speak out on their child's behalf without being seen as the angry parent so that they can help their child achieve academic success. And I do that here at the Student Success School each and every Monday live at 12 noon, each and every Monday at 12 noon. And I host coaching classes where I teach parents how to take charge of their child's academic success. So that's a little bit about what I do. And I do want to take a little time to share with you about why I do exactly what I do. So growing up in Washington, D.C., Southeast D.C., and moving to Fort Washington, Maryland, it was really, really challenging for me growing up academically. I struggled all through my elementary school career. Middle school was crazy for me. And it wasn't until I got into high school where I really started to find my own academic success and really start to really feel like a scholar academically. And so after years of struggling and going to college and really learning how to build my own academic success, I ended up in education. I've taught in Washington, D.C. I've been an educator in Richmond, Virginia. I've taught in Maryland, all through Central Maryland and Southern Maryland. And so I had so much educational experience as an educator as well as my background as a student, but there was an extreme disconnect for me because I felt like I wasn't able to serve students on the capacity that I really, really wanted to. And most importantly, I wasn't able to really serve the parents that I wanted to working in education. So I decided to quit my job and begin to really help parents in my own time, help them in my business. And that's what I do. I've been doing it for 3 years. And I'm really, 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 really excited to introduce myself to you. And so I have a 7-week program that helps parents speak out on their child's academic success in the 7 weeks. And each week I take you from A to Z, really showing you how to build your child's academic success if you're a parent of a grade K-5 student. So that's who I am, and I'm super excited to welcome you to the Student Success School. And I can't wait to speak to you soon. Hello, hello, parents. Thank you so much for tuning in. So that was just a little clip that I had to do for another opportunity that I'm working on with someone else. They asked me to do, so I was just taking time to do that, as well as introduce myself to all the parents of the Student Success School. So hey y'all, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. If you are tuning in for the very first time, hopefully you just saw that intro that I am doing for another platform, and it kind of lets you know who I am and why I do what I do. But if not, welcome to the Student Success School. If you missed it, my name is Portia Williams, also known as the Student Success Coach, and I do that here at the Student Success School each and every Monday at 12 noon. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to drop it in the comment section. And also say good afternoon to me. Say hello, hello. It has been, this week has been real. Like, this week has been real for me. But I push through. I'm making it. I am pushing through. And so last week we didn't have master classes, I don't think. Yeah, we didn't have master classes because I really, really, really needed a break. I really needed some time to myself and rebuild, right? And I did, but things happen, things happen in the middle of the week. And, I just look at it. I was reflecting yesterday, like how, when things happen in life and so much is going on, we have the pandemic, right? We have so much social injustice that we are working on as a community, as a people, as black people. Like we're really trying to put our heads together and take our legacy, right, our lives for black people to the next level. It's so much going on. And it's like, how can you move, right? How do you move the needle, if you do? I kind of heard that earlier this morning. Someone was talking about moving the needle. And one of the ways that I just think in my life as I reflect on Father's Day and some of the things that I've learned, like growing up, and I think the one thing that my dad taught me is how to push, right? Never stay where you are currently, right? No matter how hard it is, like it can be a challenge. It's okay to deal with those emotions. and deal with whatever may be standing in your way. But then start to take action and do something different, transform and take charge. And so that's just a little snippet that I wanted to share with you all before we get into the masterclass. As I was reflecting on Father's Day, and happy belated Father's Day to all of the dads in the Student Success School. I wanted to tell everybody happy Father's Day, but my day got super like all over the place a little bit. So I didn't get to say happy Father's Day. So I do want to say happy Father's Day to all of the dads of the Student Success School. We honor you, we celebrate you, and we thank you for being in your children's lives. All right? So thank you. And so as I was saying, the one thing my dad really, I feel like the number one thing he installed in me, I'm sure it's so much, and when you start to think about the one thing, I think my dad taught me how to be resilient, how to overcome, and how to not just sit, like, don't just sit there now. Don't just stay in where you are. Like, that's not what we do. Like, we ain't looking for no pity party. That's not the type of people we are. My dad didn't raise me like that. Like, we keep moving, right? And even when we fall, because we fall, my family falls often, you know. But even when we fall, how do we keep going? Like the next day, you need to be figuring out, like, okay, this is what I need to do better. So that's just one of the things I'm thinking about, you know, where my father instilled in me. Of course, my mother instilled so much, and of course, my dad instilled other things. But you don't just sit. Like, you're not no punk. You just don't sit there. You do something to move and keep moving and keep moving. And if you get knocked down, keep going. So I think that's one of the things that my dad instilled in me, and I wanted to share a little bit about that with you today, only because I was thinking about it. And so we're going to get all up into this masterclass for today. I'm really excited about this masterclass. I really am. Because, of course, as you can see, the title is Why the Teacher Won't Help Your Child, right? Why the teacher won't help your child. Like, why they really not helping your child. And we're going to get into that. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Hello, Kiana, how are you? I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, right? But as we talk about it, I want to paint the picture. I want you to walk with me. I want you to walk with me through this masterclass. It's going to get a little tough, but I promise by the time we get done, you'll have everything you need to take your child to the next level, okay? And so let's get started. Before we get started, though, I want to let you know this is actually week 7. Week 7 of the summer school series, right? Remember, it was only supposed to be like 4 to 5 weeks, and I think I extended it 10 weeks. And so after the 10th week, we will be finished with the summer school series. But as we're going through these weeks, I expect you to be taking your child's academic success this summer, like to the next level. I expect that you're really helping them get a head start. And so that's why I'm doing these master classes, right? To really help you help them. And so today's topic is entitled, Why the Teacher Won't Help Your Child. And I should have added the end part, why the teacher won't help your child when they ask for help. All right, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to edit that because I didn't put the end. But why the teacher won't help your child when they ask for help, okay? And so first things first, right? Teachers don't always know when your child needs help. So I want to address that, all right? I want to address that a little bit. Sometimes teachers don't always know when your child needs help, and that's one of the reasons when your child does ask for help, they feel like they're not getting help. And I'm going to go through that. I'm going to paint that picture. So let's think about it like this. Let's say that you are a parent, Kiana. Let's just say that you got your child's report card soon, right? Because we know school is over almost for the most part. Everybody's out of school. Normally, everybody's out of school like the 21st, 22nd. Like, everybody's out, right? Let's say you get your child's report card and, you know, it's some C's on there. You know, it's not perfect. It's not terrible. But it's some C's and, you know, maybe a few B's on there, maybe a D, but it's all right. It's not all of that, but it's like, you know, as a parent, why didn't you tell me, like, you know, you were having trouble? You might ask your son, why didn't you let me know that you was having some trouble, like in math, or why didn't you let me know that you was having trouble in reading, right? Those might be some of the things when you get the report card in the mail, like, why you didn't tell me you was having trouble? Like, what was that about, right? And so as parents start to dig deep and ask their child these questions, a lot of the times when a child is having a little bit of challenge, they're like, well, you know, I asked my teacher for help, but he or she wouldn't help me. And sometimes, as I said, your teacher doesn't always know when your child does need help. Now, would I agree that most children ask for help? Some children do ask for help. Some students ask for help. They do. Yes, you had that problem. Okay, we're going to talk about it. Um, some students do ask for help, okay? And when a child can say, my teacher didn't help me, that could be true. There's a percentage of teachers when a child says, hey, I need help, Miss Williams, I need help, right? And the teacher may say, okay, I'm coming, right? And never get back to the child because they're dealing with like 30 kids in the class. That is true. And that could be very much accurate. I'm not saying that it's not, okay? But what I am saying is, if that's the case, we can deal with that separately. But I'm not talking about that right now. I'm talking about when your child says, I need help, right? I need help from their teacher. And their teacher tries to help them. Okay, I'm going to come to you in a second. What is it that you need help with, right? Sometimes it's hard for a child to explain what it is that they need help with, right? And so they might say, it's just math, right? Let's say Kiana, your son's like, yeah, I don't understand, these fractions. And the teacher tries to break it down for him or her, or for your son in this case, right? If we're using it for example, the teacher breaks it down, right? He gets it. The teacher walks away. And it's like, oh, I thought I got it, but I don't. Like, I thought I got it, but I don't. And I think that is the big disconnect a lot of times between teachers and students, right? Because the teacher will walk away like, okay, I explained it to him. But it's like, no, like, there's no, like, there might be a major, a percentage, right, of students when the teacher walks away, the child doesn't get it anymore, right? It's like, I had it up until that point, but I still need a little bit of help, right? I still didn't get it all the way. And that's when you start to find, fast forward, right, report cards come in the mail, and you open that report card up, and it's like, why you got a C? And they're like, well, I asked my teacher for help, but she wouldn't help me. Technically, that could be true. But the technicality in that is there's a disconnect, right? I asked for help, but it wasn't given to me clearly. And that's a problem. A lot of students have those problems, especially when our children are having challenges academically. It's not that they don't want to learn. It's not that they can't learn. It's not that the teacher's the terriblest person in the world. But there's an extreme disconnect between the teacher, right, really, truly helping their child, right? Hey, Kay, how you doing, Kiara? Really helping their child achieve, and then coming back to make sure that that the student really understands what's being taught. That's the disconnect. And for several reasons. I'm not going to make any excuses for teachers, but teachers do have a large workload. And that is one of the challenges teachers feel when it comes to helping children achieve academically. It's one of the reasons I left education. It's because there's an expectation that I help this child achieve, but I feel like I'm not able to get deep down, dirty with them in the stuff that they're really having challenges with and help them move up. It's hard. It's hard when you have 30 kids in class and we only have an hour to get over this. Like, it's a timeline. And it's really, really hard to get in deep into what needs to be done. What really A to Z. My child needs to achieve this particular lesson, getting to Z. It's hard doing that when you don't have a lot of time and a lot of things are against you. And so that's why I say to parents, this becomes your job. When it gets that difficult for a teacher, you have to step in. Because if you don't and you start pointing the finger at the teacher like she's terrible, she's bad, I want her fired, right? Because my child's asking for help and he or she isn't getting it, right? I want parents to see that is true, and we can deal with all of that. But if we can start to see what it is that our children need help with, even when the teacher can't see it, that will be able to, then I can come to you and say, hey, I know my child is having trouble with fractions. How can you help me help them, and how can you help them when they're in class with you? That's when we can start saying, no, I know what it is that I need my child to, I know what they need help with, right? I don't need you to figure that out for me. I can see that. Now help me help them. And the more we can do that as parents, right, the more parents can do that with their teacher on their team, that's when you'll start to see the progress. But if parents do the I know because my parents did it, right? And I've been an educator, and I've experienced it, and I've experienced it with other teachers, right? We all talk, like, it's no shame in the game. Like, we talking about it. We talking about it when the parents aren't there. If you are the parent and you like, oh no, first of all, it's your fault my child isn't achieving because had you answered their questions, if you would have been more present, you're there for a check, you're not helping my child. Those are the things that parents start to feel like. Let me know. Kiana, have you ever felt like that? Kiara, have you ever experienced that, right? Let me know. You feel like the teacher is just there trying to get a check. It's like you're not even doing no work. You're not helping my child. Like you're not even doing your job. You're not doing your job. Have you ever felt like that with your child's teacher? Let me know. Because it can be that frustrating for parents. You know, it can. It's like I'm sending my child to school with you, but then they telling me that you're not helping them. Are you crazy or are you stupid? Which one are you? That's how parents start to feel. And if you crazy or stupid, you don't need to be there, and I need to deal with you. Parents start to feel that way. It's like, what are you doing all day if my child is asking you for help? And sometimes it's really not that. It's really not that your child's teacher is stupid and don't want to be there and don't care about. Yes, I also wanted to go. Oh, child. Woo, we can talk about that. You gonna take the teacher's credentials. Like no, forget all this talking. I know how to go to the Board of Ed. I get your whole check. You won't have a check. Like, I'm sure that's how you feel. You will not have a check. You're playing with my child, and they're asking you for help. I don't think so. Like, I get it. My parents were team. I will go to the Board of Ed on you. I promise. You won't have a job. Like, my parents was, that's who they were. Write a letter, go up there. Like, they didn't care. However, whatever is standing in my child's way, we're going to have a problem. Even if I don't know how to help them all the way. You're going to figure it out. And I get it. But what I want parents to know, right? If this is really a concern, right, and you really feel like your child's teacher is going to school just to get a check, and I'm gonna make this disclaimer: it's not even enough money in education for a teacher to go to school, right? For a teacher to go to school just to get a check. I want parents to know that. But if you really feel like you experience this, a lot of the other parents may have experienced like this teacher is really not equipped, then there are precautions and things that you need to do. I'm not saying don't speak up for your child, but what I am saying is that there is a way to truly, when your child needs help, to speak up and say, hey, Mrs. Armstrong, I don't understand fractions. Mrs. Armstrong, I don't understand like how to write out context clues or how to talk about context clues or how to really dig deep into what I'm reading or comprehension. Like, those are things that I want parents to be able to say, to the teacher, I need help with this. Even if they can't say it, point to exactly what it is that, if we can get that close, right? If you can point to, I get this, but I don't get that. That can give your child teacher, more understanding of what it is that they need to be working with your child on. And if you know that, you can clearly say, hey, this is what my child needs help with. And that excuse of I got 30 kids in the class, if they do, they know when they get to your child, this is what they need to be helping your child with, right? When assignments are being passed out, this is what you know that this child needs to be focusing on. Like, this is what the teacher knows exactly. And no, that's not your job. But if you want to help your child achieve, it does become your full-time job because it's your child, right? And so that's what I want parents, if you want the help, if you want to see that transformation between your child asking for help and getting the real help that they need from their teachers, you really want to teach them how to ask the right questions that's going to get them help, right? So that they don't get caught in between the teacher not having the time, not even knowing that this is something that your child needs to work on and really needs more help with, because it can be blurred. If you're not the type of teacher, and it don't even have to be the type of teacher, it can be the pressure and the time. The pressure and the time, when you only have a few months, things like the COVID-19 happens, and you're supposed to make sure a child is able to go to the second grade in the matter of August, September, October, November, December, January, and you out of school in the 7th month. Like, you got to get your child, you have to get these children from A to Z. It can be extremely hard, especially when you're compassionate and your heart is in it. And it can be frustrating. And so I'm not making excuses, but what I'm telling parents is, if you can get this information, right, really helping your child speak up, Say, hey, Miss Williams, I need help with fractions. Miss Williams, I don't understand what you just said because you're going too fast. Like, it was too fast for me. Not having your kids be disrespectful, but just, hey, this is what I need help with. If parents can do that, you'll start to see your child's learning change. And also, what's really going to help your child's academics switch over, they'll start to learn their strengths, right? Which is super important to me. And it gotta be super important to you, and your child needs to know this so that they'll begin to achieve. And if you guys have questions, let me know. If I'm going too fast, because y'all know I get worked up. Because this is what I love to do. But let me know if you have questions, if you're kind of like, you need a little bit more understanding. Let me know if you have questions, okay? Kiara, let me know. Kiana, let me know. One of the things that's important is, that I know that it's important, if your child can start to talk about their challenges, what they're having challenges with, it's going to be real easy for the teacher to see what they do know, right? Or vice versa. If your child is able to say, Miss Armstrong, I get word problems. Like, I got that part. But writing it out is cool for me. But talking about it, when you ask me, it's hard. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. You can begin to work like that way. You can work backwards or work up, however it is. I'm just using that for example, right? Word problems. For me, I'll just use myself for example. Like, as you can see, I'm very verbal. I can talk. I can tell you exactly what I've learned. But writing it down can be hard for me. It can be challenging because I'm like, what's important? Everything was important that I learned because it meant something to me, right? And so that can be the difference. Miss Armstrong might say, I didn't need all that. I just want the, clear context clues. I want the exact details. But your child has written a whole paragraph and it's like, where's the meat? I need you to get down to the meat. For a student that's like me, that's a challenge, right? But if you can teach your child those strengths, how they're great. You don't really have to worry about this, but we need to start focusing on this. And we'll use whatever that strength is to help build on that challenge, okay? If I use it for example before we leave, and we'll close out soon, I guess like a bike. We could say a bike, right? Because we have younger children that we're talking about. I don't know, I guess with training wheels, right? So if you know that your child is good at using training, like they got the training wheel part, right? They've mastered that. They know how to use the training wheels. Okay, I know that they know that. Now I could just start to take off the other wheels, like the training wheels. I could take that off so they can start to achieve, right? But you won't put your child on a bike with no training wheels if you know they don't know how to use training wheels already. Like, that's insane. It's insane. And so if you are able to verbalize, or your child to say, hey, it's like me getting your child, Kiara, and I'm like, come on, the baby. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to teach you how to ride a bike. But I put her on a bike with no training wheels, right? Or I put your son on a bike with no training wheels. And they're like, hold on. My mom puts me on training wheels. I don't know how to ride no big kid bike yet. It's like, oh, you don't? If I put them on that bike and make them, they're going to fall, they're going to bruise, and they don't say it, and they don't know to say it, right? And they don't know, like, I don't do that yet. Like, that ain't, my mom don't do that with me. If they don't know to say it, it's going to be a challenge, right? But if they know, hey, Portia, like, my mom hasn't put me on trainer wheels, or hasn't taken me off trainer wheels yet, I can be like, oh, okay, I won't put you on a bike. Let me find a bike with trainer wheels. Right? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that, it's the same thing with your child's academics. If they can clearly be able to say, like, I don't understand this, I do understand that, it'll make it much easier. And you won't have to wait until school is over and ready to go to the Board of Ed on your child's teacher because you feel like, your child just told you they weren't getting help. And a lot of times it's not that they're getting help, and it's not that they don't always help your child. Sometimes it's that the teacher just doesn't know exactly what your child needs, even though that they're a teacher. Even though that they're a teacher, they might not know exactly the pinpoint of how they can help your child achieve. They might have an idea, but they might not know exactly what can take your child to the next, take your education to the next level. And if that's the case with your child that's struggling academically, I think it's your job as a parent to be able to identify that and then bring it to the teacher so he or she can really do their job and help you, okay? And so let me know if you ladies have any questions before we get off, or if anybody had any questions. If not,